applicable in India, and in recently, like in last couple of years, or even we can say in the last year only, there are lots of changes have been happening in this CSR space, including CSR1 forms or CSR1, kind of application required for all the organizations and all those things. So, and there are also other some of the significant changes have been happening in this CSR space. So that is the one thing which is a major source of fund. This almost comes around 2% of whatever the criteria they belong to. That is the major chunk or major kind of source for the social sector organizations like us. Apart from that, there are like retail funds. Under this retail, I have tried to categorize all the things like including Mandirika donation, including whatever kind of uh, chanda hum jama karte hai, and all those things. And this also includes like funds and money that we raise from our friends, our well wishers and all. So this is under retail. So इसमें fundraising campaigns, particularly for medical cause or even social causes and all those things, on the platforms like Give, Milap, and other platforms, all of you must be aware of. Those are come under retail category, and I have categorized those funds under the retail wala bucket. Apart from that, like there are foreign contributions. All of you must be aware about FCRA Act, Foreign Contributions Regulation Act, where all the foreign money coming to India, particularly for the social causes, is being regulated, and that act is particularly about whatever the money that we have been raising out of India. So that is coming under FCRA. Again, for the FCRA as well, there are lots of things happening since last couple of years, we can say, in terms of most of the NGOs or social sector organizations have lost their FCRA licenses and all those things. These are things in the news, but still there is not much reduction in the in terms of grants that Indian non-profit organizations receive from this particular category. So I have created another bucket which comes under foreign contributions and all those things. And lastly, I have included HNIs. This is again, you must be aware of high net worth individuals. The individuals who have a kind of capacity, or they want to give for out of their interest and all those things. And these are like with like good worth or a good kind of wealth and income and all those things. So I have created another bucket which is HNI. But beyond these, there are again other categories like UHNIs are also there. So I have not created another bucket which is again UHNIs and all those things, because UHNIs and all are mostly coming from like family foundations, or people have created their own kind of foundations and all those things and contributing money for the social causes. So I just wanted to highlight and consider these four buckets majorly. And based on this, I have created this kind of a quiz, and I just want to know whether we are aware about for this year or maybe last year, if you are aware about size of the CSR money that we get for the social causes. Any guesses in terms of crores, in terms of lakhs, whatever you are aware about? You can just put figures in chat box, or maybe you can unmute if allowed.
Yes, participants can use the chat box.
Yeah. What is the size of CSR? Like how much CSR money is in the market? Muralidhar ji has quoted it's almost around 50,000 crore. Kishore, no idea. Any other guesses? 26,000 crore. Yeah. Around 70,000, 26,000, 200 crore, 50 crores, 50,000 crore. Okay, 25,000 crore. Yeah. Okay. 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 Yeah. Thank you. And also, uh, if I ask you about retail donations, if I ask you about FCRA, any guesses? Any guesses around FCRA 50,000 crores? Okay, 100 to 200 crore in retail. Yeah. Any guesses on HNIs, or if you know about UHN as well? High net worth individuals, we can say. Retail funding is much more than CSR, but it's unorganized. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. So, which is mostly unaccountable, we can say, but still, uh, most of the researchers or most of the uh, organizations who are particularly into this space, they try to understand and try to measure even retail funding space and how much money is flowing in under this retail fundraising and all. Okay, fair enough. So almost around, like, some of the people have hit it correctly. For the CSR, it's almost around 27,000 crores. For retail, it's almost around 30,000 crores, which is much more than CSR. For the foreign contribution, it's almost around 15,000 crores, and HNI is 2,500 crores. This is the major size of money flowing into the social sector. And if you look at, like, last year's figures, or change in the how this has been changing over last 1 and 2 years. CSR, we can say there is a growth of almost around 5% over the last year. For the retail, it's very much a kind of high growth rate kind of space, particularly in the fundraising. This is individual giving. This is giving through platforms and all those things, as we discussed. So there is a growth of almost around 18% and more than that. Foreign contribution, though we listen about news and crash down of FCRA licenses and all those things of most of the major and big organizations, uh, we can see that there is not much decrease as such. It's though decreasing, but only almost around, like, 3% of decrease is there in the foreign contributions. But HNI is again going high with almost around 11% of a growth rate yearly. So why we are, like, discussing these things, or why we are like trying to understand these? Because before going into how to raise funds and where to raise fund and what should be our strategy, we should know about the space that we are going to enter into. So that's why I just try to and give you some idea around, like, where we want to hit, where we can try to focus as a fundraiser particularly. Because when I started as a fundraiser into this space, I was not much aware about such kind of size or such kind of various buckets. So that was the main struggle that I had initially when we started the organization. So before starting the or touching to the main you know points of this webinar, I thought, like, I'll just give you some idea around size of these things. Going ahead, I just want to highlight some of the figures. These are again coming from Bain and Capital's survey or Bain and Capital report. This is another report which is like getting published yearly about how much money into the CSR space, how much money into other areas and all those things, particularly into the social sector. So this particular slide is about CSR and how much money is going into which state, and per capita how much has been the CSR spending, and all those things are happening. Delhi leading uh, the thing, but considering the population and considering mm, its share, market share, though it's leading, considering the population, still Maharashtra is the state which is mostly leading. After that, Gujarat and Karnataka are other states, considering per capita, CSR spend, we can say. So, considering other states, we can say that most of the like northeastern states, or even most popular states such as Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and all, are still struggling with CSR contribution as such. So, particularly, I just want to highlight like the organizations coming from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar may struggle with if they are putting their more efforts on CSR fundraising and all those things. Rather than that, they can strategize themselves on focusing on other sources of funds, which we just discussed. For the organizations coming from the Maharashtra, they can put more efforts on like CSR wala bucket, considering the amount of money or amount of per capita expenditure happening into states of Maharashtra and other such states. So I just want to highlight. And with this slide, I also want to make all of us aware about considering reading out such reports, which are coming from Ben and Company and other such, even Dasara publishes such kind of reports. So I'd just like to highlight that point as well. Like being a fundraiser, we should and we also need to consider about publication of such reports, publication of such, other kind of information which comes through, and we need to strategize our fundraising strategies based on where money is mostly flowing, particularly considering our cause, considering our area of work and all those things. CSR space may again, as I was talking about the areas where money has been going, I also would like to highlight about the causes where CSR money has been going. So I think most of us are aware about education and health being the leading causes, particularly into the CSR space. Healthcare being like topmost mm, priority area for the CSR space, and after that education coming at the second. But considering this report and uh, due to the limited time and limited space available, I was not able to inculcate all the facts from this report. But if we read this report in detail, we can say that gender equality and environment are also coming as very hot areas, or very demanding areas into the CSR space. So the organizations which are working into gender equality or environment and these areas can get or can mix strategic efforts in raising money from the CSR space. So coming to the point that we want to discuss, and where we can focus about where to raise fund, how to raise funds, and which are the sources available for organizations like us. This is again coming from the same report, which is published by Dasara and Ben Analysis and all those things. So as we have categorized these funding sources into different buckets, here they have also included ultra high net worth individuals and money coming from that source as well. So if our organizations or your organizations is particularly coming from like whether a new organization, whether well-established organization, whether you want to raise funds particularly for program-related expenses, whether you want to raise funds particularly related to like capacity building of uh, uh, the people in your organization, then we have to think of where we need to focus on. So this is just a kind of major idea around from where and where the money is going on. So if you want to particularly considering the first thing about retail giving, if you want to raise funds directly for the project costs, for example, if you want to work on like food distribution program and all those things, which is a majorly popular area, most of the people tend to give for the cause. So uh, considering this report as well, if we read it in detail, I have got most of the examples coming from these categories. Like people are very much, sensitive towards issues such as medical causes, food causes, and health causes, and all those things. So people tend to give mostly from the retail category or like retail donations for directly program related costs and service delivery costs. So if your organization is particularly focused on running a project or program which is mostly coming around these areas, or where you want to raise funds directly for the project related costs, you can consider about raising funds from retail giving particularly. If you're going for the CSR, or if you want to raise funds particularly for program development or scaling the intervention, for example, if you are an organization who has already successfully completed some of the pilots and some of the trials in the particular program related space or that project, and you want to scale the program, you want to, suppose for example, you're working with some of the schools with foundational literacy and numeracy wala thing, and now you have got like a perfect kind of program which is again with the standard operating procedures and all those things, and you want to scale that program to different districts, uh, uh, or you want to scale that program to other schools as well, then you can definitely look at CSR as a major source where you can get support, because CSR are mostly focused on scale, numbers, and all those things. So this report highlights about that fact. If you want to scale, or if you are raising money from the scaling perspective or program development perspective, then CSR is the good category of funds that you can look at. Third thing, particularly about HNIs or affluent givers or people who want to give uh, with their hard-earned money. And if you are an organization or non-profit organization who want to work on uh, not only scaling, but you also want to consider building capacity of people, building processes, building the program stronger, or if you want to use that money in strengthening the systems within the organizations or even outside the organization, then this is the category of fund that you need to focus on. So HNIs particularly are more interested about building capacity of the organizations, building capacity of the program, or even making the program more stronger. Then HNIs are the people which we need to tap in, or we need to look into. So I think people have got this idea about when they want to reach out to HNIs, or when they want to highlight or focus on the HNI wala aspect. Third thing about UHNIs, it's mostly around like building capacities of the organizations, building capacity of the philanthropic space as such. Then UHNIs are mostly considered about that. UHNIs are mostly concerned about that. For example, Wipro Foundation, if you have heard of, for example, A.T. Chandra Foundation, if you have heard of, they are mostly focusing on building capacities of people working into this, fundraising space and all those things. They're also even running capacity building programs for the people who are into fundraising space and all those things. I think most of us are also aware about fundraising capacity programs run by institutions like ILSS and other. So these are mostly coming from the UHNIs and ultra high net worth NGOs who want to build capacities of the people working into social sector and particularly into fundraising space as such. For the foreign giving, it's again mostly coming from the perspective that though it has highlighted only about strengthening the philanthropic infrastructure as such, FCRAs are also mostly considered about direct project cost and service delivery cost and all those things, but mostly it is focusing on again strengthening the capacity and strengthening the philanthropic infrastructure and space as such. So these are the major categories and which I wanted to highlight from the like report itself. I hope you all have got this idea, and this is just a kind of recent report which I just gone through, and I thought these are really important things that I would start with. If anyone has any doubts, they can ask, or we can go to like next slides as such. Because till this point, I just want to highlight like where the money is coming from, where the money is going, or particularly about CSR, particularly about FCRA, foreign contributions, particularly about HNIs and all those things. And I just wanted to create a kind of awareness. And in the second half, we can discuss about like various channels that we can think of and we can make strategic efforts on raising funds. So if anyone has any doubt or anyone wants to ask.
Now, I think we can go ahead right now, and
Yeah.
probably questions can be asked at the end.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So अभी तक हमने समझ लिया है कि mostly about the space and all those things. And now as a fundraiser, I'm much aware about, suppose I'm much aware about, like where the money is coming from and where they want to give, which donor category wants to give for which kind of, category or which kind of cause or which kind of, like particular capacity they want to build and all those things. So after understanding that space as a fundraiser, we have to think of like how we can make a strategic efforts towards raising the funds and all those things, and what are the various channels that we can look at. So first thing I wanted to highlight is about understanding the space particularly, because within just 1 hour, I may not be in a capacity to read all the reports, all the data and all those things, and I may not be in a capacity to put all these things in front of you, or even I may not have that capacity. So for that, I think as a fundraiser, we need to understand all these reports, all these whatever kind of CSR space and all the spaces, so that we will get a major idea about where the money is going, where the money is coming from, and all those things. Particularly, we can also think about like reports on that particular space. Like for the HNI space, there is different report, which we can say wealthiest category report, or people coming from the wealthiest category, people coming from HNI space and all those things. These reports can be find out through even Google search and all those things. So that is one source if we want to consider about retail HNIs and all those things. If we want to understand, or if we want to understand about CSR space, then there is CSR portal, which is a kind of government portal, and this CSR portal gives idea about like where the money is particularly focused. Even for the district in which we are working, or I am working as an organization, I can find out about like which are the major organizations or major corporate companies which are focusedly giving into my district. So this is a major source, particularly for the CSR. Even you can Google for the CSR portal on the uh, uh, Google search engine and all those things, and you can find the government CSR portal itself. Under that CSR portal, there are filters provided to understand, like, in which district how much uh, spend is happening for which year and all those things. Even based on the causes, we can find out about which CSR donors and which kind of CSR company is giving to which cause and all these things. Again, particularly if we want to talk about like aspirational districts or any other such districts, then again we can categorize such kind of differentiation, and we can get details about how much spend is happening in our particular region that we have been working on. Apart from CSR, there are some other portals like Candid. Candid particularly again focuses on government spending, family foundations, HNIs, UHNIs, and all those things. And Candid also gives a kind of like freedom for a fundraiser or researcher to understand about like for which cause who are giving and how much they have been giving and all those things. So particularly for the region or district that I have been working, I can make or put some filters on the Candid portal and understand about how much money has been going in my particular region. Candid has some of the free versions as well, but Candid also provides a kind of like subscription-based services. So those who have the capacity, I think almost around 3,000 or 5,000 rupees we have to spend, and we can get details about कितना जा रहा है, कहाँ पे जा रहा है, और कौन दे रहा है, kind of thing. So Candid is again another a good way.
Oh, Mr. Dadasaheb, you are on mute. Can you please unmute?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Candid-like websites are really good if we want to understand particularly about the causes that we are working on, particularly the region in which we are working. And if you want to get that idea, Candid is again another a good website. Apart from that, there are other websites such as NGO Box and CSR Box and all those things, which will also give us a good idea about where the money is coming from, and where we need to focus on how much money is coming and all those things. So first thing, research, understanding about the space, understanding about how much money is coming in my region, in my area of work, particularly about education, health, or any other area of work that we have been working. So understanding that space, understanding that base of money, where it is coming from, is really important so that we can focus on where we want to raise and how we want to raise. Second thing is social media, specifically LinkedIn, we can say. But even other social media platforms are really useful in terms of like uh, where people want to give what causes are majorly kind of popular causes, we can say, in the fundraising space, and where it has been heading and all those things. As I highlighted in my previous slide, now most of the donors are particularly concerned about gender-based giving or gender-based programs and all those things. So these are all informations coming through the social media space and all those things. Particularly if we want to use LinkedIn as a platform, we can even try to understand about money given to the other organizations working in the similar space. So if I am following any LinkedIn page for other non-profit organizations which is working into similar cause as my own organization, or into a similar geographical space as my own organization, I can also get a good idea about where they have been raising money and all those things. So referring to other organizations, referring to other causes which are very much similar to the cause that we have been working, that data can be found out on the social media pages and all those things. Apart from that, there are some particularly and focusedly working organizations such as Dasra and other who are mostly working around building capacities of the organizations, building this kind of cohort and bringing together donors and givers and actual grassroots level organizations and all those things. So getting in touch with such organizations, such platforms is again really helpful. Apart from that, Dasra, there are like Atma, which works on capacity building of the organizations and also building capacities of like fundraisers particularly. That also works on like awareness, donor awareness, and all those things. So I think getting in touch with such organizations or subscribing being to their like reports, understanding about this donor space from such organizations is also helpful for us to understand where the money is going and all those things. Apart from that, understanding about other such categories can be a good thing. I just want to highlight like even we can consider about understanding people in our particular geography who are interested in giving or who are already giving to the other causes and all those things. Even we can try out with cold mailing to such even high net worth individuals, or even if they are not coming into HNI category, then also we can start putting or raising awareness about the cause that we have been working on. These are like some of the like good ideas to connect with the people and try to raise money from these local area influencers or people who are with money in our local areas. And this has been happening in India uh, since ages, that some of the social causes which are particularly very much relevant to that particular region has been getting supported by people into the local areas, such as doctors or other professionals who really want to give, who really want to support any social causes and all those things. They are also in a position and they also want to give such kind of funds or money, we can say, but they don't have idea about, or they don't have awareness about organizations working into this particular space, into their particular geographical area and all those things. So we just have to work on that donor awareness, we can say, so that we will be in a position to raise funds from such local area donors or local area HNIs, we can say. So yeah, this is about the channels that we can think of and we can learn about. Particularly about the social media or LinkedIn, I also want to highlight that suppose for my geographical region, I have found out that there are like 3 or 4 CSR donors or CSR companies that we have been particularly interested or giving for this particular district. Then I can reach out to the CSR heads. I can reach out to HR people, human resource people, or even I can reach out to people who are into CSR committees and CSR space and all those things through sources of internet, sources of like uh, media platforms like LinkedIn and all those things. So these are kind of good ways to reach out to these people. But we make sure that before reaching out to these people, we should have all these things in place, such as like your one pager, your proposal, pitch deck, and all those things, so that if we make that connection or if we establish that connection to the people who are particularly interested into giving for the similar cause, we should be almost ready about whatever the things they want to share or we want to share as a next steps after building our connections and all those things. Yeah. uh, Let me move to the next slide. Yeah, so that's it about like whatever things I wanted to cover, and this is mostly based on like my experiences as a fundraiser. Apart from that, I also want to share our story because apart from these like slide based presentations and all those things, it's always important to understand about how we raise funds and what is our story. So we started, our work, as I shared, like 5 years back, but formally we registered our organization in the year 2020. So being a new organization, it was little difficult. So I think, and I, 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 I hope that there are also new organizations who may have some of the like similar challenges that we may have faced and all. So I just want to share that story as well. So being a new organization, there were lots of like misconceptions, misinformation that we also got as a new organization. We registered ourselves as a Section 8 company. We also immediately after the registration, we also wanted to get 12A and ATG registrations as well. But misinformation into the this donor space and even fundraising space was about like we need to complete 3 years of our registrations and all those things. But after understanding the CSR laws and all those things, we got to know that even a newly registered organization can go for 12A and ATG certifications. So those organizations in this particular webinar who are still waiting for completion of their 3 years to get 12A and ATG, I just want to make this thing or make you people aware that there is no such restrictions about waiting for 3 years of period to get 12A and ATG registrations and all those things. Even for the CSR1 certification, though it's not a mandatory thing that you can ask for the CSR money only after completion of 3 years of your existence and all those things. That is not true, because even before completion of 3 years of period, we raised money from the CSR from at least 2 corporate organizations, not more than that, because again into the CSR space or people working into CSR departments of these corporate organizations, most of them are again not much aware about there is no written specifications as such about existence of 3 years and all those things. So but it's a kind of norm that they have said that they only provide CSR funds to the organizations who are working into that particular space or particular cause for at least 3 years. But if you are in a capacity or if you are confident enough to convince those people that you have got kind of more than 3 years of experience, not as an organization but as an individual or group of individuals, then I think you will be in a capacity to raise such funds from CSR donations as well. And you can get CSR1 certificate immediately after registration of your organizations or even before 3 years, completion of 3 years of your organizations. Apart from that, being a new organization, as I shared, like most of the CSR people are not much confident about or not much open to give CSR funds before completion of 3 years. So it's a kind of struggling period for most of the social entrepreneurs. But considering the importance of social work and importance of our work, I think it's really important to consider about other sources of funds, and particularly those organizations in this webinar who are really young organizations. I would like to suggest them to go for a kind of strategic fundraising efforts, such as if you are early stage organizations or below 3 years age organization, you should mostly focus on raising funds from incubation programs. You should mostly focus raising funds from retail donations or raising funds from crowdfunding platforms, raising funds from family, friends, and all those things. Raising funds from family foundations, that is another kind of source of fund that you can really look at, rather than putting most of the efforts on the CSR. You have time, if you have time, you have energy and all those things, then definitely you can try for the CSRs, as I shared. You can get some of the positive responses, but again most of the people consider that you need to complete at least 3 years of period, and then only they can consider for your CSR considerations and all those things. So for the new organizations, these 3 things which really work for us, One is about focusing on crowdfunding. Second is about focusing on family foundations, raising funds from family foundations. And third is about raising funds from incubation programs. I think most of you are aware about incubations programs by IIM, by like Edumentum or any other such other organizations, which particularly focus on building capacities of such organizations. Even Wipro Foundation supports for such early stage organizations and all those things. So we just need to understand and find out which are such family foundations, which are such incubation programs or incubators who understand the pain point of early stage organizations or early stage social entrepreneurs and support for our causes and all those things. For the organizations coming from 3 years to say like 10 years of existence, I think immediately after 3 years of period, we can directly apply for FCRA. And though it's being said that FCRA nowadays have been getting, delays and all those things in terms of getting sanctions and all those things. But I have good examples and also some of the, like organizations that I know who have got FCRA license just within a period of 3 months. So for a new organizations, it's not a kind of struggling period as such, or a kind of struggle to get new FCRA license and all those things. But yeah, it's important that there are compliances and all those things. But considering, like canceling and all those things of most of the major organizations, it is important that we should be get ready with like FCRA licenses or making ourselves capable of receiving these FCRA grants and all those things, because competition has been very much reduced. If we consider number of organizations with the FCRA licenses 3 years back and now, which has almost reduced to 70% based on the data and all those things. So it's really easy for the organizations, or really coming with less efforts, that if we make our organizations capable of raising FCRA funds and all those things. So I think it will be really helpful for new organizations who want to get money through the foreign contributions and all those things. Apart from the FCRA, the organizations which are more than 3 years old, again CSR is another important source of fund which we really need to focus on, because again government has made lots of changes in last 2 years, and this has made again this space very competitive, but it's again very much comparatively easy space for the organizations who are really working for bringing a kind of a change into the social space. But again we need to be make ourselves capable about like CSR reportings and all those things. So that is another thing. And apart from that, as I shared in our presentations and all those things, we first need to be aware about self-aware, we can say, about the cause or the cost that we want to ask for our donors, because most of the time I have experienced and I have also learned from the other fundraisers that they are trying to raise funds from the person who is not really interested into that cause, or not really interested into that particular space. For example, if I want to raise funds for organizational capacity building, and if I am trying to raise that fund from the CSR, it will be really hard and it will be really difficult for me to raise funds for organizational capacity building from the CSR, because CSR people are mostly considered and mostly focused on scale based projects, or where we want to scale piloted projects and all those things. So we need to be more aware about why we want to raise, for what we want to raise, and from whom we want to raise. So these are the three most important questions that we need to cover. And before reaching out to any like donor or agency or institution, we need to be self-aware about our organizational needs and what we want to raise and how we want to raise and how much we want to raise. So yeah, these are like some of the uh, important tips, I think, or things I want to share based on our own experiences. And within just 3 years of our establishment, we could able to work in almost more than two districts as an organization. And this is just because of like the self awareness we have got about our own organization, and that has really helped me as a fundraiser and we as an organization. So I thought that I'll just share these things with you as well. So yeah, that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dadasaheb. It was interesting to know your personal experience about these areas where, like, there are a lot of, we would find very less people who would share like such insights about their own organizations and also share about like overall sector experience. So that was very helpful. Thank you so much. We have received few questions. Um, I think we will go ahead with the first question. Can you able to share the links of CSR portal and Candid portals? Are there any links?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Just give me a minute. Yeah,
okay. Sure. Or you can send me after the webinar also. That is also absolutely fine. So I can send it to all
yeah.
the participants.
Uh, that's
Madam, if you,
better.
madam, request if you can share it here also, will be good, madam. The
Okay,
links which you
sure.
just told, madam.
Not an
Please.
issue.
Thank you, madam.
We have a question from Christopher also. Christopher, you can ask your question.
Actually, when you serve, presentation is very, very good and very clear. But with reference to CSR, uh, I came across an organization which asked for FCRA. It said if you have FCRA, because the company is the international company, I think, and we only give to organization having FCRA.
So yeah, what is the question then? Uh,
The question is that the company is an international company and they have a base, international base, and CSR is controlled by the international company. So they said if you have a CSR, FCRA, then we can give the CSR funding to you.
yeah. If like uh, the money is coming from like any foreign source as such, and if they are not NRIs or non-residential Indians, then definitely FCRA is required thing. So if you are an organization with 3 years of at least 3 years of existence and your turnover or spending is more than 10 lakh rupees, you can go for FCRA registration, or even there is another thing which is called as prior permission kind of thing. If you're sure about like the source of fund or donor is yeah,
5 crore.
ready, ready to give you a kind of like agreement kind of thing, where they are sure about giving you funds and all those things, you can apply for even prior permission kind of thing from the MHA website or Ministry of Home Affairs website. So there are two options. One is go for the FCRA license, apply for it, get all these things done, like compliances and all those things. Then you will get the license within
5 crore.
3 months to even 1 year of period. Or you can go for a prior permission kind of thing, where prior permission is only for one time donation or foreign contribution that you can get. So there are two options which you can try for.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving to the next question, can you please provide cold mail template to us? Is there any template that you are using?
Contribution project.
Yeah, cold mail ka there is no template as such. Cold mail is a thing where we just want to reach out to any person that we have researched about. Suppose for example, if we got to know about any wealthiest person kind of list that we hear about on yearly basis, And if we want to reach out to any kind of person who is coming from top 10 wealthiest person in India, before starting a cold mail or trying to get mail address of that people, we should try to understand areas of interest for that particular person. Suppose if I want to send a cold mail to a person from Reliance Foundation or any Adani Foundation or something like that, and if I want to reach out to them, cold mail is particularly useful when we don't have any like second line of connections or even third line of connections, or people we uh, uh, don't have any common friends as such. So in that case, we first have to understand like areas of interest of that particular person. If that person has previously given to any healthcare cause, educational cause, or any rural developmental cause, based on that particular cause, we have to frame our own mail. Suppose that person is interested into educational cause, then we have to frame our mail based on that information, that like based on your interest and all those things, we are organization working into educational space and all those things, and with this mail I just want to reach out to you if there is any possibility of you sharing you supporting our organization in terms of like funds, in terms of mentorships and all those things. So it's just a kind of like self introductory mail, and there cannot be a template because it's totally based on a kind of subjective thing. We have to make good research of that person to whom we want to reach out to, and to whom we want to send this kind of a cold mail. So before just going for cold mailing, we have to make a good kind of research. Based on that research, we have to pitch for our organization within that mail. So it's just a kind of starting kind of mail, introductory mail we can say, so that we can get in touch with or get in at least in memory of that particular person. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaikwad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving ahead, I would request our participants, there are multiple questions asked in the chat group. However, some of their answers are already given. So in case if you still feel that your question is not answered, I would request you to raise your hand and ask the question.
For all them who can pay charges.
Yes, Mr. Arun.
Are you are ready to invest?
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so
Okay.
much for asking.
Yeah.
Please go ahead with your question.
Sir, I want to understand that our organization is a very fresh organization. It is almost 6 months old, and we don't have that sort of capacity to build a CSR report right now. So we required a company, or we required a good champion who can help us out into making a CSR report, so that can be delivered to the organizations. So if you can give us some feedbacks on some organization, so we can get connected to them.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, congratulations for starting a new organization and entering into the social space. For the new organizations, it's not required to have a kind of CSR report, but we can say a kind of activity report, or maybe like after completion of 1 year, or by end of this financial year, or by March, you will get your first financial audit report as well. And at that time, you can also prepare your annual report as such. So these are the things which are required. In that annual report, you can highlight some of the pointers around what the work or area of work that you have worked on and all those things. How much money you have raised from which sources and all those things, and how much you have spent on programmatic expenses or any other kind of expenses and all those things. So that is a kind of glimpse of your financial health or financial report, which can be included in your annual report as such. So that report can be made from like any consulting organizations, and there are also some particular organizations which are working on creating or helping organizations on creating such annual reports as such. So I can give you such references, or I can just give those details to Aishwarya ji as well, so that she can share those resources or those references with you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. We have a question from Shushmita.
Yeah, Sushmita ji.
You are on mute.
So, hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah. So myself, I'm visually impaired, and I run an social enterprise called FIDA, where we are selling products which are made or sold by persons with disability and underprivileged artisans. So
Great.
I'm looking for some grants rather than some loans or something. I'm looking for two things: one, grants, and one, connections with CSR people who can buy our products. Because as it is for gifting, they are buying something from here and there. So they can buy from us. This is the two support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for grants, if you can guide me, how can I go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So Sushmita ji, thank you. This again reminds me of another source of fund or good source of fund that we can try. One is about making our own, kind of products, own kind of services, through which we can raise revenue, through which we can raise awareness about the social cause that we have been working on. And Sushmita is a kind of good example that she has not only just helping, disabled people, but also creating and making such products which can be, pitched to people from the corporate sector. So for the Sushmita ji, one thing I think you can make it as a strategy is like reaching out to the people from the HR space, because they need some kind of corporate gifting options, particularly during like festive seasons and all those things. And India, fortunately, we have like festive seasons almost for
Around the year.
around a year. So for the Christmas, they need some kind of corporate gifting. For Diwali, they need some kind of corporate gifting. For any other, festive season, they need corporate gifting kind of options, and they are always in search of such kind of corporate gifting. So you can use platforms like LinkedIn, platforms like company web pages and all those things. You can specifically reach out to HR people. You can pitch about your product. They just need a kind of smart packaging and all those things, so that your products are more attractive, and they can be used as corporate gifts and all those things. So I think strategically, if you can make such kind of corporate gifting packages and all those things, and try pitching these gifting options to the HR people, then that is a good entry point for you to get into the corporate space. Once you hit that, it's really easy for you to reach out to the CSR department from the HR department, because HR and CSR are like bhai people. So it's really easy for you to get into the CSR network as well for that particular company, and you can pitch for CSR grants from that particular company. So it's a kind of good option for you. It's not kind of option for most of the NGOs working into service sector or other sector, but considering you're coming from like that service or product category kind of organization, it's a kind of good opportunity for you to enter into a corporate space, and get entry into the like HR department, and through HR you can enter into CSR. So
Yeah,
definitely.
but to do so also we need to access LinkedIn, to meet companies and all. We need to hire people. We need to pay them salaries. So that's where I was looking for some grants which can give us that cushion to scale our business.
Yeah, but like initially, if we are at the pilot stage itself, like even if you want to target at least one or two companies, then I think manpower is not required in that case, because you as an individual can reach out to at least one or two companies, and that will be a kind of entry point for you. And that those companies can be like good options for connecting you to other companies as well. That's how we also started reaching out to CSR companies and all those things. We initially started with like one IT company. That IT company not only supported us with CSR funds, but they have also, though uh, amount was very minimal, but they helped us in building our website, and they also referred us to other IT company as well. So now we have like two IT companies who are providing us with CSR grant, and that was only through my own individual efforts. So it's not like we hired any external agency or external person getting in touch with that IT company. So you can just try focusing on one or two companies in your area, or at least a nearby metro city or something like that, targeting that particular company and getting entry into that corporate space. That can be a good referral point for you in the future, to get in touch with other companies as well. So you can start with at least one or two companies, and
We have
what
already
happens?
done that. We have started selling, but that's not taking a touch, man. Because I'm visually impaired, I need assistance. Correct?
Okay, yeah.
Correct.
So I think discussion is going on that particular issue. I'll share my mail ID. We can discuss things over mail, or take this on
That
one.
would be really great.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Also, I
ask
would like, Sushmita, I would just like to request you if you can share the catalog with me at the below mentioned ID. I'm just putting it in the chat box. You can send it to me. We can like look into this.
You means Aishwarya, correct?
Yes, Aishwarya from Team ConnectFor. Since we also work with corporates, we also provide them like gifting options, so we can circulate this. Yeah.
Great. I'll because I believe Hira is a. I'll speak to you.
Yes, I've mentioned the ID. You can just email me over there. Yeah.
Okay, because from the chat it's difficult for me to copy. I'll try. Chalo.
Okay. Yeah.
Ashwin, just wanted to ask one question.
Yes.
Ashwin, I can't see Mr. Gaikwad on the screen, my screen.
Yes, he is there on the call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say him so that I can. Okay. Another thing is, sir, I would like to know how can I approach some companies for adult immunization. We are registered NGO for quite some time. We registered in 2015. And so far, we have been getting funds from friends. We have never approached maybe the big people, but now since we are in the circle, we are connected, to GARUP, we are connected to IFA, we are connected to ICCA. But now when we ask them to renew our membership, we are asked to pay and pay in dollars or Australia dollars or Canadian dollars. So it is difficult for us. So can you please help us in this field? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, you want to see me, but my bandwidth is not allowing me to switch on my video. So sorry for that. Considering your question, as you shared, like you're working into immunization space. So for such kind of causes, again, as I shared, like you need to do a kind of donor research kind of thing. First, you have to refer to platforms or websites such as Candid or CSR portals and all those things. You have to find out institutional donors, HNI donors, and other kind of category of donors, which are particularly interested into adult immunization or health space, or any other such spaces where you are particularly working on. That is one thing. After doing that research, you will definitely get idea about which are the like companies that are really interested or giving for the health cause or immunizational cause and other causes. Based on that data, you can try reaching out to such people who are coming from either CSR committees or any decision making authorities and all those things. So that is the option that you can definitely try out. And as I shared through the webinar, it's again a kind of research plus reaching out plus continuing that relationships and all those things. Though you have like registered in the year 2015, I think you haven't yet received any CSR funds and all those things. So you also need to work on like making your organization CSR compliant. I mean, like when I say CSR compliant, I mean that CSR people really look at like documentation or all those things. So first thing is like you need to have 12A ATG with 3 to 5 years of like
Everything.
permission and all those things. Oh, okay. If you have everything in terms of like legal readiness and all those things, you also need to have like proposal documents, one-pager document, logic framework analysis, and all those things. So if if you have all these things in place, yeah,
Sorry to interrupt. I
no
just
problem.
said because I asked for the template, not for myself also. Many new people, they find it difficult to approach new companies or new places. So one or two templates, given to us, they can freely fill them, without hesitation and send it to the cold calling, as you said. And
Yeah.
also regarding the research, sir, it is very sad in India, though other countries are doing very well. But India, I am 68 years of age, and I do not know until I have researched that what are the vaccines which are required for elders. If you ask your mother or even anybody elder in the meeting, they would not know which vaccination should be given to the elders. They might know about children. So advocacy for this cause is very, very important. Since
Yeah.
you are already in this field, if you also can involve into this program, it will be very good.
Sure, definitely. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I really appreciate your feedback, Dr. Asha. I have shared the feedback form below. In case you have anything specific, you can reach out to me at ops@connectfor.org, and I will connect you with Mr. Dadasaheb to take it forward. With due to limitations of time, we need to like close this webinar. It's already 5:30, but I really appreciate all the participants who stayed on the call for like 1.5 hours. It's much appreciated. All your efforts are like, we appreciate, and like we are very thankful for this partnership. However, in case if your questions are unanswered, you can just drop me an email at ops@connectfor.org. It's just ops@connectfor.org, and I will connect you with Mr. Dadasaheb. Yeah. Thank you so
Sure.
much once again, Mr. Dadasaheb, for all your time and efforts. It was an interesting webinar for our participants.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much.
We are together creating a kind of trying to at least create some kind of social change. So all the best to all of you, and stay in touch,
Absolutely.
and all the best. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and the session. It was very helpful for everyone. As I mentioned, if your question is unanswered, please just drop me an email and we will try resolve your question as soon as possible. And I look forward to seeing you in a future webinar. Once again, thank you so much. And yeah, hope you have a great evening. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ashwarya ji and Connect for team for the opportunity.
Thank
It's
you
really
so
nice.
much, Mr.
Thank you so
Dada.
much.